Coach, I know you're busy, maybe the busiest June in the history of South Carolina football. We appreciate you making the time. How you doing today? How's it going? Have you had a chance to breathe?
No, I haven't. It's been great though. Camp this morning, youth camp, official visitors that left town yesterday, youth camp that started this morning. We've had two pretty three high-profile guys here on unofficial visits today. So sorry to keep you waiting. Just had one that literally walked out of my office about 30 seconds ago. But I figured you guys and everyone watching, I know how passionate you are about recruiting, so I figured y'all would certainly understand that if we had to delay a couple minutes for a big-time prospect.
Yeah, I think everybody here understands, Coach. And obviously, you can't talk specifically about the guys, but I know you're coming off a week. This was actually your first week as a head coach, having official visitors in. 10 guys, I think, this past weekend, 3 during the week, sort of last week. What can you tell us? How did it go? Were you getting that feedback from the kids and from the parents that you wanted coming off of those visits?
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I probably should be asking you guys for the feedback that you've gotten from talking to them, but it was fantastic. The official visit weekend that we just finished was amazing. One of the best, if not the best, I've ever been a part of. We spent a lot of time crafting it, making sure that we were doing the very best thing for us right now, and taking elements of different places that I've been that I thought were good from an official visit weekend, things that have been done here before, and trying to combine and make the best of everything. And the feedback was amazing. Just talking to families as they left town, the word, genuineness, real, truthful, honest, fun. I mean, it was really impactful just hearing from so many people and being around so many great prospects and their families. It was a really good group of people that we were with from an official visit standpoint. But then really just the last 2 weeks have been amazing. And I don't know what exactly, I knew we'd have a lot of prospects here, don't get me wrong, but the level of talent that we've had on campus the last 2 weeks, whether it be for camps, unofficial visits, whatever it may be, it's been remarkable. And all of them sit there and say, can't wait to be back. And just had a young man and his family leave my office. It's a heck of a prospect in the class of 2023 that, said we'll see you in the fall. And I couldn't wait to get down here and see what the environment in Williams-Brice Stadium is like up close and personal. And we've got, I think it's 11 or 12 days left here before it goes dead again. And we're going to do our best to maximize every single day until then as well to get guys here.
Coach, you sort of talked about it already there, but what does that look like logistically, being able to actually put your entire stamp on? You've done official visits as an assistant coach, but now you're running the camps, you're doing the official visits where you get to sit down. And I imagine y'all had discussions about, hey, this is what we want to incorporate. This is what we want to make a big deal out of. I see welcome home is right above your head there. That seems to be a phrase that just pops up everywhere with your program right now. But what are the aspects of these official visits that you wanted to make sure, hey, when that kid leaves, when that mom leaves, this is what she remembers about South Carolina?
Yeah, good question. I mean, you guys know there's so many great things here on campus, so many things in Columbia that you can show. When I was finishing up with some of the exit meetings in my office on Sunday, I was telling some of the parents about all the things they didn't get to see in Columbia that are amazing, that next time they come back, we want to make sure they get to experience also. But really just trying to do our best to put our stamp on it by giving the prospects and their families that are here for the 48 hours everything that we're about. And everyone is every school these people visit, these young men visit, and their families are going to have nice facilities. I doubt they're going to see one as nice as this one. They're going to have great fan bases and great stadiums. I doubt they're going to find one as great a fan base as we have. They're going to have great, good academics. I'll put our academics up against anyone. But at the end of the day, it's about people. And we wanted to make sure that we maximize every ounce of the visit, every second of the visit, to make sure they had a chance to spend time with the people that we have here in this program, from the 10 coaches to the analysts, the GAs, the weight room, nutrition, training room, character development, and on and on and on, academic support, and just see what we're about as people, because at the end of the day, they're going to make their decisions based on the relationships they have with people at those schools. And certainly I love the group we have right now, and thought a lot of them already, but after spending time with so many recruits and their families this weekend, I'm even more convinced about what an amazing staff of people we have here.
Appreciate you again for joining us. And as you laid out, tons of recruiting activity, new offers, 2022, 23, 24 guys, transfer guys on campus. So one thing I wanted to get a sense from you was what do your numbers look like, and how do you kind of navigate the numbers for this class specifically? You're kind of under the scholarship cap. You have some transfers coming in. You maybe leave it open. You have a certain number of high school guys you want to take. I know you got to leave some room for flexibility, and you're not maybe quite sure right now with a hard number, but how many guys do you kind of look at bringing in this class in general?
Yeah, in general, I mean, we're trying to have a full class, and obviously you're right. It's tricky to project that and say that because you don't know quite what it's going to happen with your current roster and opportunities some of these guys may have for the NFL, how much longer some of these guys with the extra year of the NCAA granted, how many guys will take advantage of that. So there's a lot of balls in the air for sure, but we're projecting at each position, our target number at each position, and we're planning on being able to sign a full class. And obviously there's a lot of things that have got to happen or will happen between now and then, but we've done it early on when I got here, and then up until this point, I feel like we've done a really good job of just projecting and roster management as far as how we want to handle this, the 85 scholarships and the 25 initials and all that going forward. And we're in a good place right now, and hope to continue to be.
Yeah. So when you look at not only this class, but just into the future, obviously the transfer portal has kind of changed things, but now the one-time transfer exception, leaves it even more open. So, just going forward, is that going to drastically change? Back in the day, maybe even before you were here the first time as an assistant, schools were oversigning. You saw, I think Ole Miss back in the day, they signed like 35 guys in a class. You can't really do that anymore. So, how do you kind of navigate that? Is part of that, building such a good culture that maybe guys don't look at it and say, hey, the grass may be greener going to this other program? Like, is that going to help your strategy with roster management?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for other college coaches, but wherever I've been as an assistant coach, and certainly now as the head coach, I want to create an environment that people want to be a part of, that they don't want to leave. And, I saw that after I had exit meetings with every single player on the team after spring practice. And I can't tell you how many guys sat in my office and told me they weren't going home at all in the month of May, or if they did, they were going to go home for 2 or 3 days and come right back because they were having so much fun here at Carolina and they didn't want to leave. They wanted to stay and continue to just keep building what we were doing at the end of spring practice. And that was awesome to hear. And that's who we are. That's what we're about. That's our program. We're real, we're genuine, we're honest, and we're not going into anything saying, okay, we got to treat this guy better than we were before because we don't want to upset him and have him going in the transfer portal. I mean, we're going to coach these guys and treat these guys like I always have as an assistant coach, and now will as a head coach. And that's being honest, being real, being genuine, being demanding, hard work, holding them accountable. And when the time comes that if somebody feels like there's a better situation for them at another school, then we'll certainly help them in that process. But no one's told me that. And I'm worried about the people in this building, the people in this program is my priority each and every day. Now, obviously, there's a different animal out there with the one-time transfer and the portal and whatnot. And we've utilized it to our advantage, and we've been hurt by it some since I got here as well. And it's certainly another tool, but we're always going to start with high school recruiting, and we're always going to start with making sure we're caring about and treating the players in our own building, our own team the right way. And then, if a situation comes up, like I said, where somebody feels like there's a better situation for them elsewhere, we'll help them. If there's a situation where we can help make our team better, by reaching into the transfer portal to do that, then we'll certainly explore that like we have this year.
Coach, I think most of your guys from this past class are pretty much already in. I know you had a big bunch in for spring. Then I know a bunch of guys came in last month. How excited has that been for you to start to, meet your first ever class as a head coach? And how close are you? I saw TJ Sanders maybe tweeted he was moving in today. How close are you to being at that point where all your guys are in?
Yeah, pretty close. Got a couple more that you mentioned, TJ, and we got a couple other guys here and there that we're still waiting on. But for the most part, everyone's here, and it was awesome. I mean, it's a strange deal where you sign guys and they're part of your team, but the first time you meet them is the day they arrive on campus to move into the dorm. I mean, that's never happened. It's not just here. I mean, we recruited guys when I was at Oklahoma that the first time they were ever in Norman, Oklahoma was the day they moved into the dorm a few weeks ago out there in Oklahoma. And it's just a crazy time, but it's certainly awesome to have everybody here. That's one thing. I mean, I was excited about recruiting opening up on June 1st. That was fantastic, getting prospects and their families here. But I was even more excited about our current team being back in Columbia, because that was that same day when everything opened up is when all of our players were back. And we had a team meeting, I think, on June 1st at 7:30 a.m. And that was so much fun just to have our guys back. And I'm loving every second of this month, because we've got prospects and their families coming in and out every second of the day, it seems. But we've got our current team back in the facility working hard and training with Luke Day. And it's awesome being around those guys as well, and meeting the new arrivals that weren't here during spring practice also.
Yeah, and that's something I noticed that I've kind of pointed out on this program and on GamecockCentral.com, Coach, was the fact that, you look around social media, there's a lot of coaches, staffers at programs, and when June 1st hit, they were rightfully so talking about recruiting. But I saw some of your other staff members really kind of putting an emphasis on, I guess, showing love to the current players, which kind of, to me, kind of stood out and was a little bit different. But I want to hit on this. You mentioned 11 or 12 days until the dead period hits again. So flurry of activity continues. But walk us through what your current players are doing and are allowed to do with Coach Luke Day and his staff, and even with you guys from now up until, June, July, and up until preseason camp starts.
Yeah, so we're back. Good question. We're back into summer workouts. So our guys are lifting weights 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. We've got 3 groups that are lifting weights in the mornings. We've got a 7 a.m. group. There's an 8:45 group, and there's a 10:30 group. So they're doing that 4 days a week. We've got a day of, recovery, so to speak, where it's not a heavy emphasis on lifting and things like that in there during the week also. And then this week, starting tomorrow night, our guys will come back up here in the evenings to do some stuff outside of with the coaches, doing it on their own, throwing 7-on-7 routes and fundamental type things and stuff like that. We're able to meet with them, and the amount of time that the NCAA gives us to utilize whatever Coach Day and his staff don't use, we're using for football, whether it be meetings or, fundamental type things on the field. We're not allowed to be out there with them. We can't be out there and have equipment or a ball with our guys. So it's not like a practice, but we are able to meet with them. And if we want to work on some fundamental type things outside, we can. But, I also believe it's June. We're still, I think, 7 weeks from when we start practice. So we're not trying to grind them down right now in June, but we've talked about it as a football team. We got to have a sense of urgency about what we're getting done this summer, because we can get better this summer and get better than a lot of the teams that we're going to be playing this year about what we do in the summertime. And every day I know it's cliche, but you either get better or worse. You don't say the same. And we got to make sure that each day we're in this building that we're getting better, and that we got a sense of urgency, and we're moving this program forward. But love the way that our guys are working, and it's fun being around them and watching them.
Coach, got a fan question here, and I got to admit, I sort of agree. Back when you were here before and Spurrier was here, and day one of practice and people would back their trucks up and they'd have their beer coolers out there and everybody would get excited for practice. They want to know, are the days of fans getting to go to a practice, is that just something we're going to talk about as being the past, or is there a chance, maybe even next spring, is there a chance the fans one day get to attend a practice again?
I hope that those days aren't over, because I remember it. I mean, it was awesome sitting over there on that old practice field across the way from where I am right now and seeing the trucks backed up, and it brought energy to the practice field. I know the fans enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as a coach. It was a lot of fun and a lot of excitement being out there. So that's something that we certainly want to be able to take advantage of and utilize. We got the greatest fans in the world, in my opinion, and want to do everything in our power to give them opportunities to see our football team. And it's good for our players too, to be able to perform in front of a crowd and things like that as well. So as I sit here on my desk, I got a lot of things right here to the right of me that I'm working on in regards to preseason practice in the future. And one of those things is trying to find ways to allow our fans to get a good look and access with the team. So something that we're certainly working through, and I'm in favor of if we can make it work. So it's a work in progress.
Good to know. Good to know. All right, so we got a couple more things for you, Coach, before we let you get back to more prospects or the variety of things that you have going on. But earlier, you, I think, half jokingly wanted to hear some reactions from prospects that we had gathered. I know we can't talk about specific guys, but we did have a couple of things that I kind of wanted to read back to you that some specific guys said. I won't mention them by name. And I just wanted you to hear it so you can kind of see if this is what you want to hear about the program as these guys leave. One of the things was the facilities were unmatched by anybody I'd seen, but the people were even better. Coach Beamer and South Carolina's staff make you feel like home. He's a culture guy. He really cares about you. Another one said, I got to hang out with some of the players, got a feel for how they feel, if it's true or fake, but I got sincerity for them. What's going on there is really what's going on. It's not just a show. So does that kind of, hearing things like that, reactions from guys that just left official visits, does that kind of validate what you want your program to be about?
1,000,000,000%. That's awesome to hear, and it is true. And I agree, with all of it. I mean, we have an unbelievable university and product, so to speak, to sell. But again, like I said a minute ago, it gets down to the people. And, I just watched the interactions of our current players that we're hosting with the families. And that part was cool. We did a player panel where our players were in a room with the recruits separately, and then they were in a room with the parents separately. And some of the comments the parents made to me about our players and some of the things they were asked and some of the things they were said. It's not like we don't like give them the questions beforehand and, hey, here's how you need to answer when they ask. I mean, it's totally free flow and freelanced, and that was good. And a lot of times at these recruiting dinners, the players and the current players that are hosting, they come, they host a recruit, they eat dinner, and then as soon as dinner and dessert's over, a lot of places I've been, the recruits and the hosts, they can't wait to get out the door. Like, they're gone the first opportunity. And we had some of that, but then we had a lot of guys that we had to like almost kick them out because they wanted to stay and just keep talking with the coaches, our staff and their families. And it was very, very easy, very real, very natural. It was a great group of young men and families that were here this weekend, and first-class people. But that starts with the people in our program as well, and the 48 hours that we were able to show what we're about.
Coach, and those are all great comments, but my favorite one was one of your kids said, Coach looks like he works out a lot. That was that was his comment. So are you getting in your steps with Coach Day, or what's the workout regimen these days?
Yeah, so I'm in the weight room, or I'm down there each morning at 6 a.m. And Chip Morton, our fantastic associate strength coach that works with that, works with Luke. He's kind of early on, I just said, can you just put together like a kind of a workout program for me? And they gave it to me. And now it's kind of evolved to where Luke and Chip just follow me around, and they're like my personal trainers for an hour in there each morning. I think what I am, I'm like the guinea pig, and they try these things out on me to make sure it's okay, and they're not going to like injure one of our players when they ask them to do it, because they take great pride in saying, hey, what you're doing right now is what our players are going to do this morning. And it's the bike, it's running, it's some weights and things like that. But I have a good time. And in all seriousness, that's a great hour that I have with Luke and Chip each morning, because I rely on them a lot and bounce a lot off of them. So a lot of the decisions that we make in regards to things that are happening in this program are made as I'm about to pass out, laying in a puddle of sweat about 6:40 a.m. 4 days a week in the weight room as well. But I did see that. I did see that comment, and I made sure to screenshot that and send that to some of my buddies and some of the people back at even Oklahoma as well.
So speaking of being in shape and also going back to camp, Wes and I have been out at five camps now down, a few more to go in terms of prospect camps. But today was another big day for camp, youth camp this morning. And according to sources, there was a big time prospect out there today. I don't know what class he's in. You can tell us. A guy named Hunter Beamer. Give us your scouting report, his position. Well, there's a lot we need to learn about him, so we can go ahead and start writing about him.
Yeah, he's got a chance. He was a flag football team quarterback out in Norman, Oklahoma. Little undersized right now. I sent Coach Step. I saw some videos of him running routes and catching and then making somebody miss recently. So I sent Coach Step a video of that. I think he may be a future slot receiver, but we got to work on his mindset and his competitive spirit, because the camp started off great at 8 a.m. But then about 10:30 a.m. is when the Chick-fil-A lunches came into the indoor. So once the Chick-fil-A came in, I think we lost the mental focus, not just of him, but pretty much every camper. Because at that point, all I got asked was, when is lunch? When can we have Chick-fil-A? And my son included. So we got to work on his focus for the full 4 hours. But he's a good athlete and has a lot of fun and takes pride in it. But we had a lot of awesome sons of coaches that were out there today. I know Coach White's son, Coach Peterson's, Nick Coleman's. Coach Stepp had some relatives that were here as well that I saw out there. Luke Day, his son, was out running around. So we had a good group, not to mention all the other campers that was out there. So that was a lot of fun, and takes you back to your roots as well, and thankful for their attendance today. But appreciate you asking. I'll keep you on to keep him on your radar.
Please do,
Coach. Yeah, Coach. I know you got stuff to do, man, but we really, really appreciate the time. That's great stuff. We've absolutely enjoyed it. We'll let you get back to work, but hopefully we can do this again one day. And we appreciate the time, Coach.
Yep, I'd love to. Really appreciate you guys having me on, and thanks for all you guys do as well. Keep it up.